You're listening to the GRCC Provost Podcast.
Greetings, persons of quality. For all of you who've stayed with me through my 8 previous podcasts, I know that you think that it's pretty on fleek. I want to thank the leadership team of the Upward Bound program for explaining to me what that means. As an administrator, I vowed never, ever, ever to be involved or to be the one who makes decisions related to college closings due to inclement weather. I failed. The truth is, what I've learned is that most schools, like GRCC, take a team approach. It's not just one person making the decision. It's a bunch of people at a very early hour, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, getting together on the phone and talking about the road conditions, the police reports, who else is closing, what is the forecast, are we able to keep our parking lots clear, et cetera, et cetera. You have to realize that if I'm on the phone at 4 o'clock in the morning, that means that other people who work at the college have been out driving and assessing and on the computer even before that. Still, just for the record, I'd rather not be involved. I try to do the best job I can. Some of you know that, you all know that recently we had a couple of inclement weather closings. After those, I sent out an email to the faculty and staff in academic and student affairs asking for feedback about how the process went. And there was a little trepidation, I can't deny it, but I was absolutely delighted that I received approximately 110 responses. I was honestly surprised, but pleased, that the vast majority of those email responses were from people who thought that it was a good idea to be able to reopen the campus later in the day if it's closed in the morning and if weather conditions permit. I certainly wouldn't deny that there were a number of folks who were pretty vehemently opposed to that idea. I appreciated their feedback as well. But again, since the response was generally positive, and since we want to do everything we can, not just to keep students safe, which is paramount, but also to keep them learning, we'll be continuing with that option of reopening later in the day if the school is closed in the morning. There were some other themes in the feedback, and one of them, and I shouldn't be surprised about this, we can always do better with the clarity of our communications. And so there were some specific suggestions about the messaging we used and how to make it more clear. And we will take that into consideration, and we're already planning some different language in the future. Also, there was some feedback around the theme of, can't you make those decisions a little bit faster and notify people sooner? And that's absolutely a concern, and we're going to try to be absolutely as expeditious as we can be. Again, thanks to everybody who shared. I think you're going to see, I hope, we're going to try to make improvements next time, but hopefully we won't actually have to try it till maybe next January, if then. My interview today is with Vicki Powers, who is the program director of TRIO at GRCC, and Anna Maria Clark, who is one of the wonderful advisors who works in that program. And Vicki, you're kind of new to this position. How long?
January 4 was my first day.
So a few months.
A few months in.
All right. Anna Maria, how long have you worked with TRIO?
I think in November is going to be 13 years here at GRCC, though I have a longer trajectory with TRIO itself, because at Grand Valley I did 9 years in the high school program, the Upward Bound program.
Okay.
One of which we also have here, one at GRCC.
Super. And I have to note for our listeners something very important. Anna Maria Clark is the first two-time participant in a Provost podcast. Yay!
Thank you. Wow.
There should be some sort of special prize, or Ed McMahon should pop out, but there's not. So my first question is, what does TRIO stand for?
We love that question.
We get it a lot. TRIO itself is not an acronym. So the idea of TRIO...
What?
I know. We're shocking people across the country. TRIO came from back in the 1960s when the programs came about. The U.S. Department of Education were looking at the gap on educational achievement. And so they created Upward Bound, which is the program that Ana Maria worked very closely with initially, and that is focused in on the high school. They then created the Educational Talent Search program, and that serves primarily middle school, but does carry forward into high school a bit. The final program was Student Support Services, which was at the college level. And so we became known as the TRIO of educational support. And that title has just stuck, even though there is much more than just the 3 educational programs at this point.
They sought to bring us together for legal purposes and for funding purposes, so we are all together under the Title IV of the Higher Education Act. So they brought all the programs in. We continue to develop. Now we go all the way through getting students ready for PhD programs. Mm-hmm. And many four-year institutions have what we call the Ronald McNair Scholars Program that gets first-generation income-eligible students ready for PhD programs. So we cover the gamut of the educational pipeline.
Absolutely.
I don't really have the whole gamut of TRIO here today.
No.
Which is not to shortchange you in any way. You are a specific TRIO program. Mm-hmm. What would be that specific name then? Because here you're known as TRIO.
Student Support Services.
Student Support Services. Super. So tell me about your program in general. What does it entail?
So our program seeks to increase the graduation rate and persistence of underrepresented, first-generation, low-income students in college. So we like to say that we are shortening the gap between achievement. So we serve students that historically are very high Pell Grant eligible. You do need to be either U.S. citizen or an eligible non-resident, asylee, refugee. Mm-hmm. And then seeking to move on for a bachelor's degree. We help our students obtain an associate's degree or certificate and then help them transition on to the four-year institution of their choice.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is it you do to help this population of students? What do they specifically get if they're part of your program?
We have a variety of services. In essence, anything that will work towards them achieving their own academic and personal goals for their stay here will be covered. But in essence, the academic planning and the transfer preparation are at the core, but also the sense of providing them a sense of community and belonging here at GRCC, so they have the sense of connection that is so important to be successful in your academic work. We work very close with with the transfer process, transfer institutions. We take them on campus visits. Most of our students have never explored other institutions, so we make sure that they have a better sense of where they're going, and they can develop connections to the places that they're going. And that is also part of the richness of being part of a federally funded program at the national level, because we can also help them establish connections with the TRIO programs where they transfer. We also are very concerned with them developing additional experiences that are going to help them explore things further. So we work with them in either volunteering, research, summer research. We have great news. This year we have 13 acceptance students to Michigan Tech for our partnership with the MICA program.
I'm going to ask you more about that.
And then we have one that is doing a study abroad program in Salamanca, Spain. He was one of 20 students selected across the country to participate in our national study abroad program. So expanding those horizons, looking at, developing their employability literacy skills, creating their resumes, which are going to be used not only in college applications, but also in when they go seek their first jobs. Looking at even working on campuses. Some of them have never even thought, I could work on campus, I could be a student employee, and how awesome that is as an experience. We try to make sure that from the get-go they will have a connection through an advisor, and that I think that is one of the strongest relationships. But we have a team of peer mentors, and also that helps them opportunity. We give students the opportunity to become leaders and explore that in their own path also.
So you referenced MyCup, and I've been at the college a while now too. And for a number of years, Ana Maria, you were trying to get me to Houghton and Hancock, Michigan, and you kept telling me how great this place was, how great this program was, and finally, well, you wore me down, or we found the year. But we have an interesting partnership with Michigan Tech called MyCup. Tell a little bit about that. 13 students this year. What do they do when they get to Houghton and Hancock?
Well, this partnership is, the goal of this partnership is to really provide students with the first-hand experience at being at a four-year institution, have their first encounter with research, working with a professor or a grad assistant in an ongoing project through 7 weeks in the summer. They also take a class up there. So it's a very, very intensive program for them that really has them explore things that they never thought that they could do or that they would be experiencing as sophomores in college. It's a very exciting partnership. Students are truly transformed. They're very successful. The success rate of the programs that have participated is tremendous in terms of continuing their education, graduating, the persistence, and the becoming full participants in society as they move through. I mean, it's just very, very incredible. So we're very excited. We had the director here yesterday interviewing all 13, and one that is trying to jump in through the waiting list, number 14.
The future number 14.
The future number 14. Yes, it's for many of them, our students some of them never left Grand Rapids.
Yes.
So the fact that they will be crossing the Mackinac Bridge for the first time or getting on a plane for the first time is just also very amazing. Yeah. So
that plane is something.
I know you had a close-hand experience. Assuming that you can get there, it's very good.
Very, very fun. I was, in all seriousness, really, really glad that I went, and hugely impressed by that program, by the staff there, and by our students. Pretty impressive stuff, what they were doing as sophomores, essentially, in college, and the level of research, and very cool. So how do students find out about TRIO?
That is the $1 million question, and to be very honest with you, it's the thing that we have struggled with. So we do a multi-platform approach to it. So we partner really closely with the admissions and the enrollment center, and they try to make sure that every orientation a student is receiving information about TRIO. So when they go into that classroom and they get the talk, they also say, hey, pull out your blue cards, and if you're a first generation college student, fill this out and we're going to send you information about TRIO. We go into the classroom, so we hit every CLS 100 class. But we also make connections with the different departments and try to go out and do departmental meeting visits. Doing things like this is wonderful to get further exposure. We have a really close collaboration with the Counseling Center and any student that they feel would benefit from being part of our program, because such a huge population of the students at GRCC qualify. I think it's something like over 70% of our student population is either first generation and or from the low socioeconomic profile. So there's thousands of students that have the potential to be part of the program. It's just a matter of getting them in. And getting them aware of how are we different in some ways from the traditional advising center.
So first-generation students, is the criteria around socioeconomic status being Pell eligible?
That's a big component of it. So if they're a high Pell eligible student, that's traditionally, and we get that information from the FAFSA form. We tell the students not to feel burdened with that. We'll take the ownership of that and we'll figure it out for them. But the other thing that we have found is that they get confused with that terminology first generation. So they think, oh, well, my sister earned a bachelor's degree, so I'm not first generation. Or, well, I've been in college for a semester, so I'm not first generation. So it's also helping educate them that it means that neither of your parents earned a bachelor's degree. And that's really what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. And I know you're here because, Vicki, like your third day on the job, you and I met at an event, and you, Anna Maria, made sure that I got to meet you, which I appreciate, and you immediately said, hey, you need to help us, Lori, get out the word to faculty to help be part of sending us students. If I'm a faculty member, what do you think I should say in my class? Or should I say something in my class? Should I approach students individually? I mean, how do I, because there are general eligibility criteria. I might not know if my students would fit those. I'm sure the criteria then become more specific when you start to look. So if I'm a faculty member and I'm thinking, just this is a great class, there's got to be somebody in here who might benefit from this. How would you suggest I go about it?
I think we have gotten lots of group requests. So one, we would tell faculty, if you're not quite sure or not comfortable, call us, because we are happy to go in and do our spiel, our 15-minute spiel to explain what we are. But the other thing, I think one of the great things is hitting on the opportunities that we offer. So if a faculty member says, hey, is anybody in the classroom interested in going on to earn a bachelor's degree? At that point, you could say, you really should check out the TRIO program, because they specialize in helping students transition into a four-year institution. If there are programs where they're science, math, engineering, technology, because of the MyCup relationship with Michigan Tech, because of the relationship for the UROPE program that we have with the University of Michigan, helping make those students become more competitive for those secondary admission programs at the four-year institution. Any of those students, I think, would be awesome to send our way, because we can give them those additional experiential learning opportunities that really set them apart and tremendously increase their success rate at the four-year institution. Outside of those students that I think I'm emphasizing that are maybe a little bit more academically inclined, I'm also really interested in the students that are maybe right there on the bubble, and they need a little bit more wraparound support, because we really emphasize that we are meeting you where you're at. And so if where you're at right now as a student is entry-level courses, maybe our AFP courses, and you're really feeling unsure of your confidence, your academic ability, if you see them struggling and not connecting, we're kind of the perfect place to help nurture that academic confidence and that idea of, yes, I do belong here, because first-generation college students really struggle with that idea of, do I belong here? am I right to be here? And we want to emphasize to them, not only do you belong here, but you need to be here, and we want you to be here.
So there is no grade point average to be a TRIO student, or maybe there is, I don't know.
Not necessarily a grade point average, but because we are trying to increase that bachelor's degree earning, we are hoping to have our students by the end be at a cumulative GPA of a 2.5.
When they're finished, when they leave here.
When they leave
Okay.
here.
Okay, great. Now, I know that you're under some challenges too, because you said what we have currently now about how many students?
About 300, I think.
We have
we're-
about 300 students. We're in a new grant cycle. So fall of 2015 began our new grant cycle, and under this new 5-year grant cycle, we are to serve 475 students each academic year. Prior to that, we were at 350, and so coming into this year, because Ana Maria did a Herculean effort, really being completely on her
All
own.
of her efforts
Yes.
are Herculean.
Amen. That
I've
is
seen
so
it.
Thank you.
true. All of her.
This past semester was a little bit highlighted.
And especially Herculean effort.
Yes, to try to not only recruit but maintain and promote, and doing it completely on her own, we are running into a little bit of a challenge this year. We need to recruit about another 162 students by the middle of August in order to hit our 475 mark. Do we have a little bit of wiggle room on there? Department of Ed will give us a little bit of wiggle room, but not a ton, not a ton.
So the magic number is, just so we're clear, 162 by mid-August.
Yes.
162 by mid-August. All right. So if I'm a student and I hear about this from a faculty member, or perchance I'm listening to the Provost podcast, perhaps the less likely scenario, how do I apply?
Absolutely. So we've got information sessions. So if anyone goes to grcc.edu/SSS for Student Support Services, on our main page we have information sessions, and we are holding weekly information sessions where students, and anyone really, we had members from the Telemon Corporation come in this week to get information, but they can come in, learn a little bit more about the program, fill out an application, and we are determining right then and there if they are eligible for admittance. And if they're eligible, then we start the next process.
We tell students it's really not an obstacle course. If you're interested, you're eligible, you want to be in the program, we want you in the program, because working together is what's going to make everything work for the student and for us. So
Yeah.
we go through the process really, really fast. There are some things that we have to do, but they also help us get to know the students better. So we spend some time talking with them, getting to know them, and getting them straight into the program. So.
Okay. So it is not a Herculean task to apply for the TRIO program. And it sounds like, well, I can say this because there probably aren't a lot of students listening. So you say, well, we talk with them. So there's a little bit of an interview, maybe.
Yeah, we call it a
casual.
It's a conversation to just get to know some of their goals, their aspirations, where are they at in the process, what have they done, what have been their challenges.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things we cover in the beginning, and then we begin working together.
Okay. Is there now, I know that your deadline is mid-August, but is there a deadline for the student application, or could they, conceivably a student could walk in on the 14th of August and you could say, great, let's do this.
Absolutely.
It's a rolling admission.
But don't wait.
Yes.
Well, and we do have some incentives going on right now. So any student that applies is eligible and admitted during this current winter semester 2016, they're going to be entered into a scholarship drawing. And we are going to be running that scholarship drawing mid-April because our goal is, hey, if we've got students that want to apply that scholarship to their summer tuition, perfect. If we have students that still have money owing on their winter tuition and they get selected, perfect. They get to choose which semester that they want it in. And we have over 50 scholarships that we're going to be able to dole out. And that's only to the new kids on the block.
Let me just repeat this. If I'm a student interested in applying, I go to www.grcc.edu/SSS, and I can get in touch. I can learn about an info session, and if I apply, I'm eligible for a scholarship. It's a drawing, and there are 50 of them yet to be given, 50 scholarships, and they're only for the new folks.
Correct. Correct.
Even I get that's my odds are getting better. Yeah, my odds are getting good.
Your odds are good.
Not perfect.
No, but pretty
Very
darn
good.
good. And they get some really fantastic support. I mean, I like to call us lovingly intrusive.
Lovingly intrusive.
Lovingly
That's a lot better
intrusive.
than just intrusive advising. Lovingly.
We're lovingly intrusive because we truly, I mean, Ana Maria embodies the spirit of TRIO, but TRIO was truly built on this concept of belonging and relationship. And students want to feel connected to somebody. I mean, there's really not this magic thing to keep people in college other than making sure that, hey, if I fell off the face of the earth tomorrow, somebody is going to care enough about me to know that I'm not there. And we way care if they're not there.
I know you way care. That's awesome. Now, I have one final question. And it does not involve, don't laugh, Noah. This does not involve the whole feline canine thing. I'm not doing that today. I don't want my shtick to get old. Here, this is an easy question. What should I have asked you that I didn't?
That's a wonderful question.
It is a good question.
That's the one that we were not prepared, but there are some.
We are located. Where are we located?
Where are you located?
So where can you physically find us? We are located, we came up with this motto. We are on the third floor. So we have this thing. So the counseling center is the whole third floor and the student center. So we've now dubbed ourselves the third floor of GRCC. So we're on the third floor of the student center.
Third floor student center. That's the same building with the bookstore.
It is.
And the food.
And the food.
And the Greater Grill and the Quiet Cafe, the counseling center, and TRIO.
Yep.
Awesome. Super. See, that was easy.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Yeah, off the record. Cat person, dog person.
Both.
Dog.
Yeah, it's okay, Anna Marie. I'm still going to have you back. We'll get you here a third time.
That would be awesome.
Thanks, Vicki and Anna Maria. When you're an administrator, sometimes people look at you in bewilderment, like when you tell them that you enjoy your work. Here's a reason I like being an administrator. It's fun to be out in the community, kind of leading your everyday life, getting things done, and hear great stories from people who are really, really happy with their experience at the college. I love to have those moments when I'm out in the community. And I've had several of them recently. My spin class instructor saw that I was wearing a GRCC t-shirt, and she asked me, "Do you know Laura Kennett?" And I said, "Of course I know Laura Kennett. She's one of our great exercise science instructors. She was my instructor at GVSU, and she was my favorite. She was the best." I said, "You're right. She is the best." Actually, I said something more like, "You're right. She is the best," or something like that. Recently, I had some very minor hand surgery, and in the operating room before the procedure, there were 3 nurses who were trying to keep me relaxed, and they asked, where do you work? And I told them, and it turns out that all 3 of them graduated from GRCC. And all 3 of them, to a person, said that in their entire educational experience, the best instructors they had were the ones at GRCC. It's these kinds of experiences that remind me to make sure that I'm not doing something stupid in public, and to be happy about the fact that I work at an institution like this one. I'm really happy for the great work that all of you do, especially when I meet students who could cause me serious physical pain if they were not happy with their GRCC experience. Now you know at least one small reason why I'm proud of the work that you do. You are the highly esteemed, much appreciated faculty and staff of a very happy provost. Boom.
You've been listening to the GRCC Provost Podcast, produced by GRCC Media Technologies. Join us next episode for more Provost.